Okay, so I was talking to my friend today, and she told me that familiarity breeds contempt. However you say that, I can't speak properly. But she was saying that familiarity breeds contempt, and what she was basically explaining is that when you get too comfortable in something, like especially in relationships and friendships, it causes the opposite. Like you think it's going to create happiness because it's something that you're used to, like it's organized, it's well put together, so you're going to be happy, and instead it actually creates the opposite. Now, to a certain extent, I kind of like agree with that, but then again, at the same time, I don't think it's the familiarity that breeds the contempt. I feel like it's the negative familiarity. Like, let's say, for example, why can't I say that word? But anyways, I feel like the negative familiarity has to do with, let's say, for example, if you're in a relationship and you're used to somebody saying something bad about you, or like every time something bad happens, you guys have an argument. One second, every time you guys have an argument, you already know that this person's going to say something ridiculous, or like basically something that's disrespectful, or you're going to say something disrespectful. So they're used to that and you're used to that. And you guys, I guess you say it functions, and we love together. We've been through it all together, the worst. And it's like, but you're not even happy in that situation. So I don't seem to understand why you just jump back into it like the ring of fire. I don't like fire because fire burns and stuff. And I like my skin to not be burnt. I am not chicken from KFC. Anyways, but like I feel like a lot of people, the problem that they have is that they just get too comfortable and too used to that. Like you get through this phase of like, you get to know somebody and you talk to them. When they start showing you red flags, you kind of like push it away because you're like, no, because I don't want to be like, controlling or manipulative, or I don't want to, push too soon. It's not like we're planning on getting married anytime soon. It's just, let's have fun while we can. Like, this is not spring break. You need to take this serious. If anything, if you want something to lead to a relationship or anything of the sort that's going to waste and invest your time, not waste and invest is two completely different things. But if you're going to invest your time into it, make sure that you're doing things that make you comfortable and make them comfortable. And I'm making the table shake, which is then making the laptop shake. I got to stop. Anyways, but like I see it like this. How are you going to sit here and say that I am going to basically invest my time and be miserable throughout it all? So let's say, for example, you're in the talking stage and they show you these red flags of certain things that you didn't like, let's say from a previous relationship, or that you just don't like as a general person yourself. We all have our likes, our dislikes, our standards, the things that we will accept and won't accept, and you can't accommodate every single thing. Like, I understand everybody has like their niches and glitches, but you can't just push all that to the side just so that they feel comfortable. Like, if you want to address something, address it in the beginning, because you are going to sound crazy if 4 months after you're like, this is why I got mad at you, Hernando, or whoever. I don't know who that is, but Tyrone, I got mad at you, Tyrone, because I told you about this, and you know what? And then he's going to just sit there like, what are you saying, lady? You never spoke about this. And when this did happen, you were completely fine and you said, never mind. You see, people try to shorten their sentences in the wrong time, in the wrong context. No, when you have a problem, get it off your chest now, because when you build it up, eventually you're going to flip out, and at the wrong time and at the wrong person, or maybe at the right person at the right time. But the way how you're going to flip out, you're going to have like the anger of freaking Zeus and all these other people, and that's why you have to approach the situation when it happens. Now, if somebody has a red flag, always keep it in mind. Don't just brush it off. Like, you can't forgive and forget a friend or a family member when they do something wrong to you, but you're going to do it to somebody that you barely know, that you're trying to get to know. That's a stranger. That is a stranger danger. But you're still talking to them. I mean, everybody's a stranger until you meet them, even your family. Sometimes you don't know your family, and you have all these cousins, and then they're just hugging you and stuff, and then you don't know why they're hugging you, and then they're just putting signs on your back. I don't know. Putting signs in your back saying weird stuff, and then just gonna knock them out one day. But anyways, time. But you have to basically address these situations, and you have to address these little things, because they might be little, but they're gonna start stacking up. And you have to remind yourself, in the long run, in a year or so, am I gonna be comfortable if they're doing this exact same thing while we're in the talking stage, or whatever the heck the dating stage? Okay. Now you move on, you're going on dates and stuff, and they're kind of controlling in a sense, like, oh, we're going to go here, we're going to do this and that. That's kind of, I guess, some people say that's kind of romantic, but you have to be careful that they're not trying to control every single thing you do. Like, you have to give people their space. I got asthma, get away from me, my damn. But you can't just make it a priority to accommodate to everything that they want and then basically like dumb down and do nothing about it just so that, I just want to seem like, the one for them. No, if it's the one for you, however you act, if you freaking hiccup every time you laugh too much, you know what? Someone's going to find that attractive or I don't know. But, you can't accommodate to every single person, and when you do, that's when you become miserable and you have no one to blame but yourself if you allow yourself to be put into that situation. Now, you go into a relationship and this person, let's say if they're abusive, whether it be emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, because, sometimes some people can try to like question your faith or whatever it is that you believe in. You can't. Why do you have to? I see it as this. I never understood why you have to. You can accommodate certain things, but people have to understand when they meet you, it's not based on their checklist. Neither is it when you meet someone, it's based on your checklist. You have to learn, listen, I can live with this, but I can't live with this. And address it. Talk to them about it. Tell them this is not really something that makes me feel comfortable. Because sometimes people get pissed off when you don't say anything because you're just sitting there like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And then you guys are in a relationship and then you keep getting into arguments or whatever. And so for some reason, let's say, for example, it gets physical and abusive. And then you guys break up and then you come back together and it's the same thing. It's never going to happen. That's why the familiarity, whatever, breeds contempt. Wow, that's a lot of R's. But if it breeds contempt, it's because you have allowed something or they have allowed something to get into the mix of the situation that is not right for you. The only thing that can be familiar is like if they do like these little things that, something that's intimate that the both of you know. That's, that's okay because that's something that's personal between the both of you that only you two would know about each other. But if it's something negative and it's something that pisses you off, it frustrates you, and it's on your mind constantly, you talk to them. Like, I feel like communication is the best key to have in a relationship, and a lot of people don't talk about certain things because they're just like, they don't want to hear it. Or if I do talk about it, I'm going to just start talking crazy. No, learn to control your anger just like they should learn to control their anger. You sit down and you address the issue. And if they can't accept that that's that change, somewhere along the lines in that whole timeline, they were thinking with that mentality or acting upon that mentality, and you allowed it to progress forward. Don't allow it to progress forward. I'm not saying like be single forever. I'm not saying like don't go into relationships. I'm just saying be aware of your scenarios and your surroundings. Like if somebody's making you feel uncomfortable, if somebody's making you question yourself as a person, or they just challenge you, but in a way, like you have that gut instinct that something's not right. Don't ignore that gut instinct because most times than not, when you're screwed over in the situation that's pissing you off and you're like, what the hell, my life is over, whatever. Your life isn't over, but like let's say if you over exaggerate and you're like, this is horrible. Something that you did allowed you to get into that situation, and what you failed to realize is the gut instinct that you had was because you knew that you didn't accept this and you said, I'm not going to change my morals for anybody, and then you changed it for somebody. Like, I don't seem to understand. I could be a hypocrite. Hypocrite. I gotta learn how to articulate my words better. But yeah, a lot of people, they say these great things and then they do the opposite. Don't do the opposite. Like I always keep talking about make a list, write it down, but it's actually a good thing. Journal it or whatever. Talk to somebody about it so that they can remind you, like, girl, no. Oh, dude, no. You said you would never do this for this person or whatever, and then you did. So, like, write it down. If you don't like when somebody is always, like, on top of you and clingy, let that person know that. Because they might be the clingy type, but at least they know, so they're not just wondering, like, why are you pissed off all the time and look like you're about to punch them in the face every time they walk into the room, and every time you're like, can I hug you? And you're just like, if you don't get away from me, I'm going to kill you. Just please get away from me. If you're going to kill somebody, you shouldn't be in a relationship to begin with. You should be in therapy. Fix your anger. I sound very angry. Ah, goodness. Oh man. Anyways. But you just have to make sure that no matter what, you pay attention to red flags. If you don't know what red flags are, Google it. And you know what a red flag is, a major one, something that makes you feel uncomfortable in any type of situation. It's good to grow out of your comfort zone, especially in relationships, but it's not good to basically give up everything that you said that you stood for. Or let's say, for example, you said, no, I want someone to respect me for this, and this situation, and I want somebody to speak to me as if I'm a grown adult, and to not talk to me, to talk down on me like I'm something less than. And then you accept it in the relationship because whatever it was that attracted you to this person that lets you think with that mentality, you have to tell yourself, I don't care if I die of a broken heart. No, I'm not. It's more miserable when you're stuck in that situation than it is when you're getting over that situation. It might feel just the same, like your heart is about to break into a million freaking pieces because you're freaking drama, Romeo and Juliet or whatever. But you have to remind yourself, wait a minute, do I want to be miserable? And then eventually, your body's going to get used to your body, but you yourself, you're mentally going to get used to the fact that this person is not around. You're going to get used to the fact that the stuff that obviously when you get familiar with stuff, you're just like, oh, I miss that. But afterwards, in the long run, like I said, I'm not saying this so that everybody can be team single because I'm single and miserable and all this other stuff. I'm not miserable. I'm just talking out my mouth. But yeah. So if you want to, afterwards you progress and then you realize what it was. I feel like some people, they don't take the time out of relationships, like that pause. Like they break up with somebody and then they automatically want to jump into another relationship. No, don't jump into another relationship. You need time to heal, my child. You need time to heal. You need time to figure out what it was that was successful in the relationship, what it was that you would never take back, and what it is that you would take back, and the things that weren't so successful in the relationship, and work to progress so that each and every day something gets better. And make yourself busy. You shouldn't invest your entire time in the relationship and this and that, the freaking holy grail. No. If you have a job, focus on your job. If your job doesn't require you to have to focus on it afterwards, like if you're a mathematician and I don't freaking know, if you are an accountant, focus on whatever work you have. And if you finish your work, go for a walk. I don't know. Get a hobby, do a sport, do something, fill in the time gaps, because the problem with a lot of people is that they take too much time invested into, I'm going to focus on this relationship. No, you don't focus on just the relationship. You focus on yourself, because that's how you progress. And this is why a lot of people have arguments in relationships. Let me tell you why a lot of people have arguments in relationships. Ooh, I was out popping. But the reason why people have a lot of problems in relationship is because they focus all their attention on one single thing, whether it be the other person themselves, whether it be a situation itself, but they don't focus, they don't spread out their little, I don't know, schedule. Fix that. I don't know. Focus on your job, but don't make it your everything unless you need the finances. And don't let somebody make you feel bad because you're working. Oh, you're not spending enough time with me. You know what? Buy them a freaking teddy bear and a box of chocolates, and that is their issue. Deal with it. Go watch Dr. Phil, Oprah, something. I need to do what I need to do, and focus and focus and focus. Not like this webcam, because this webcam is not focused. But that's alright, because I look crazy regardless. So, anyways. Now, the next thing is that you have to focus on what is it that you seek to find in this relationship. 5 years from now, what do you plan this relationship to look like? Don't do the whole, I pick a fence with a dog and all. No. I'm talking about realistically. Do you plan on having a future with this person? Do you plan on having kids with somebody? Do you plan on progressing in your relationship? If you do, make sure you have this in mind and don't forget it, and don't submit to anybody else telling you otherwise. Girl, you are just dreaming too much. You are dreaming. You are reaching for the stars. You need to stop. You are 5'1". You can't be reaching for no stars. You know what? If I want to reach for the motherfucking stars, I will buy a bag of Lucky Charms. I'll buy 5 bags of Lucky Charms. I will pick out all the motherfucking stars and I'll hold it in my hand take that. Now that I have rambled and said random stuff that makes absolutely no sense, I apologize for taking up your time. Whatever it is that you got from this video, you're welcome. And have a nice day. God bless.